Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're talking about something that's, well, it's absolutely crucial for any business out there, your website. We're going to break down how to turn your website from just another page on the internet into your single most valuable employee. So let's just dive right in. Seriously, think about that for a second. Is your website out there working for you 24/7, bringing in new customers and building up your brand? Or is it kind of confusing, a little outdated, and maybe even scaring people off? That's the big question, right? And it's what we're going to tackle today. All right, so first things first, we've got to frame this the right way. Let's stop thinking about your website as just a URL and start thinking of it as your primary place of business. So picture this. Your website is exactly like a real-world brick-and-mortar store. The look, the feel, how easy it is to get around, all of that stuff determines if someone's going to walk in and browse for a while or just glance in the window and keep on walking. It is literally your face to the entire digital world. Okay, so if it's your storefront, why does good design matter so much? And trust me, it's not just about making things look pretty. Let's get into the 5 big reasons why a great website is, well, it's totally non-negotiable if you want to grow. First off, first impressions. You know that gut feeling you get? You literally have seconds, maybe less, to convince someone to stick around. A sharp, professional-looking site, instant credibility. An old, clunky one, you could lose them before they even figure out what you do. Okay, so you got them in the door. Now what? The experience has to be good. Is it easy for people to find what they're actually looking for? You know, a good design feels effortless. You don't get frustrated. And that's huge, because a frustrated visitor is a visitor who's about to click over to your competition. All right, this next one is a biggie, and it's mostly invisible to the user. See, a site that's built right and loads fast isn't just better for humans. It's also way easier for search engines. Yep, like Google, to read and understand. And what does that mean for you? It means you rank higher. It means more people find you. Simple as that. And don't forget, your website is often the very first handshake someone has with your brand. Everything from the colors you pick to the fonts you use, it's all telling a story about who you are before a visitor reads a single word. It sets the entire vibe. Which brings us to the whole point of all this, right? The goal. A great website isn't just a passive brochure. It's an active salesperson. It's all about guiding people, gently but firmly, toward that Buy Now button or that contact form. It's about turning a curious browser into a paying customer. So let's recap those 5 pillars real quick. First impressions, user experience, SEO, branding, and of course, conversion. And here's the most important thing to remember. These aren't separate things. They all work together. They're like gears in a machine. When they're all working in sync, you've got a seriously powerful engine for your business. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. This stuff gets real results. A tailored approach drove more traffic, boosted conversions, and straight up grew his business. It's proof in the pudding right there. All right, so we've talked a lot about the why. Now let's get into the how. Because let's be real, a great website doesn't just magically appear. It's built on a solid, step-by-step plan. A real professional process covers all the bases. You've got to start with analysis and planning, then move into the actual design. Make sure it works on phones, that's responsive design, and then you get into the nitty-gritty of SEO and deployment. But hey, look at those last 2 steps, review and support. That is so important. Your website is never really done. It's a living thing that needs to be taken care of. And when you have a clear process, you get happy clients. I mean, it makes sense, right? When there's a clear plan, there are no scary surprises. The whole thing just feels seamless and totally stress-free. Okay, let's switch gears for a second and talk about your website. It might be time for an honest look at your own digital storefront. Is it time for a little touch-up or maybe a complete overhaul? I mean, the difference is night and day, isn't it? On the one hand, you've got a site that's actually costing you business. It looks old, it's a pain to use, it's slow. And on the other hand, you've got a site that builds trust, that people actually enjoy using, and that's lightning fast. So be honest with yourself. Which side does your site land on? So to help you out, here's a quick checklist. If you're sitting there nodding your head to more than a couple of these, like if your site just feels dated, if it's slow, if it doesn't work well on a phone, or if you're just not seeing the results you want, well, that's a pretty huge sign that it's time for a change. And you know what? A redesign can do more than just fix the obvious stuff. A fresh look didn't just fix a bunch of critical bugs on his site. In the process, they found he was paying for $280 in fees he didn't even need every single year. So yeah, sometimes an update doesn't just make you money, it actually saves you money. How cool is that? All right, so as we start to wrap this up, let's think about the future. Remember, your website is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's a dynamic, breathing part of your business, and it's up to you to decide what its next chapter looks like. So I want to leave you with just one last question to chew on. Right this second, what story is your website telling the world about you and your business? Is it a story of being modern, professional, and on top of your game? Or is it telling a completely different story? The good news is you get to write that story. Thanks for tuning in.